Hello. In this video, I would like to take you through setting up some of the most commonly used features on the Jaguar I-Pace, and also show you a few features that are a little less obvious, but no less useful for that. The first thing I would recommend is to download the Jaguar iGuide app. This contains not only a full searchable copy of the handbook, but also a reference guide for warning lights on the dashboard, a frequently asked questions section, and a visual tour around the inside and outside of the car with information on the controls, buttons and features. It's a great source of immediate information when a question pops into your head, or you just see a button and think, well, what does that do? Another download is the Jaguar Remote app. Your car comes with a SIM pre-installed by the retailer, who should have spoken to you about the setup of your account that enables many of the intelligent features on the car. Okay, let's start then with the smart key. Now, lock and unlock seem pretty obvious with the deployable door handles responding to each one. Pressing the lock button just once will lock the car. Pressing twice will double lock. Now, this means the car cannot be unlocked from the inside, so even if someone smashes a window, they still can't open the doors. Next, there is a button to unlock just the boot. If you have a powered tailgate, this will open or close the tailgate automatically, so do ensure there is space for it to safely operate. There are sensors that will stop it if obstructed, but you'll notice I use my arm rather than my head to demonstrate that. Now, powered tailgates can also be operated by the button above the number plate on the outside, a button by the driver's knee inside, and a button on the back of the tailgate itself. If you wish to adjust the height the tailgate opens to, if, for example, you have a garage with a low ceiling, reposition the tailgate to the desired height, hold the button down until you hear a beep, and this will store the height to memory. If you have the hands-free gesture tailgate, so long as the smart key is in your pocket, sweeping your foot under the rear corner of the car will trigger the tailgate to open or close. I-Pace has an additional storage area underneath the bonnet. Now, the bonnet can be released using a button by the driver's knee inside the cabin or from the key fob itself. Once released, simply slide the catch to open the bonnet. The final button is a panic alarm. Press for 3 seconds or press 3 times in 3 seconds and the horn will sound and the hazard lights will flash. After 5 seconds, this can be cancelled by holding the button for a further 3 seconds. Holding the unlock button down will operate global opening, lowering all the windows to allow air into the car before you enter on a hot day. Similarly, if you go out and then realize you've left a window open, hold the lock button to activate global closing to raise all the windows and secure the car. These operations can be enabled or disabled using the instrument panel inside. If your car is fitted with keyless entry, you don't even need to remove the key from your bag or pocket. So long as it is within a foot or so of the car, you can just press the button on the door handle and the doors will unlock. When you leave the car, press the button to secure the vehicle. Getting into the car then, the first thing you need to do is find a comfortable position. Seat controls can be found on the outside of the seat. Steering wheel adjustment is either electric, using the joystick on the right-hand side of the steering column, or manual. Pull the lever on the underside of the steering column down, adjust, reach and rake to suit, and then push the lever up to lock the steering wheel in place. Mirrors are adjusted using the controls mounted on the driver's door. Select which mirror to adjust using the buttons, and then use the joystick to adjust the angles. Incidentally, if you have power folding mirrors, pushing both buttons together will fold them in, useful if squeezing through a tight gap. Once everything is adjusted to your satisfaction, if you have memory settings, you can save these positions. Just press the M button and then within 5 seconds press one of the numbered memory settings. You'll hear a chime to confirm that it is saved. You can switch between stored settings just by pressing these numbered buttons. Great if you share the car with another driver. Controls for the electric windows are located on the driver's door. Locking the operation of the windows from the rear seats will also engage the child locks on the rear doors. Most people will want to leave their windscreen wipers set to auto. Move the stalk to its lowest position and then come up 1 notch. Sensitivity can be adjusted using the rotating collar and pull forward for screen wash. Similarly, the headlights are best set to auto by rotating the outer collar. Pulling the stalk towards you will flash the main beam. When driving at night, pushing the stalk away from you will toggle the main beam on and off. If your car is fitted with auto high beam assist, the car will automatically dip main beam if it detects oncoming traffic. If you have matrix LED lights, the car will keep main beam on almost all the time, creating cones of shadow around other road users so they're not dazzled, but maintaining full beam everywhere else. This mode operates above 30 miles an hour and requires the lighting control to be set to auto. There's an array of controls on the steering wheel. On the right-hand side are the controls for cruise control. Pressing set on the rocker switch whilst travelling at your preferred speed will maintain the car at that speed until you touch the brakes or press cancel. Pressing the accelerator will cause the car to speed up, but when you release, it will return to the set speed. Pushing the rocker switch up or down will increase or reduce the set speed. If cruise control has been cancelled, pressing resume will return the car to the last set speed. If your car has adaptive cruise control, a radar monitors the speed of the car in front of you. If they're travelling slower, the car will automatically match their speed. The buttons on the left and right will increase and decrease the distance between you and the car in front. Whilst you need to be travelling over 20 miles an hour to activate cruise control, adaptive cruise will match the speed of the car in front all the way down to 0. If the traffic restarts within 3 seconds, your car will pull away with the traffic. Any longer than that, and you'll need to give the car permission to go with just a gentle press on the accelerator. This function means that adaptive cruise control can be used in tiring stop-start traffic situations. The limb button switches the function between cruise control and speed limiter. Lane keep assist can be toggled on and off with the button marked with converging white lines. If the heated steering wheel is fitted, the control will be found here. On the left side, the roller switch controls volume, with buttons either side to skip tracks or change radio menus. The menu button triggers the instrument panel menus, allowing configuration of safety systems, heads-up display and driver convenience features, while the outside of the dial then controls navigation through these menus. Explore through these options to set the car up to your preferences. The phone icon will answer a call or start the process to dial a contact on a connected phone. Pressing it during a call will drop that call. A quick press on the voice control button will allow you to use voice commands. Wait for the chime and then just say, "Call home." A full list of the available commands can be accessed on the main infotainment screen. Starting the car is as simple as pressing the start button. So long as the smart key is in the car somewhere, the car will switch on, ready to drive. And of course, as there's no engine, you won't hear any familiar start-up sounds. When you switch the car on, the main 10-inch touchscreen will display 3 main options: navigation, media and telephone. If you haven't already paired a phone, it will prompt you to do so. Just tap on the phone tab and then open Bluetooth devices on your phone and select Jaguar I-Pace. Accept pairing on both your phone and the screen, and from now on it should automatically pair each time you get in the car, allowing hands-free calls, voice dialing and music streaming over Bluetooth. Text messages can be displayed on the main screen, and a soft key allows for them to be read aloud. On Apple phones, it's necessary to enable this feature by selecting Settings and Bluetooth, then selecting the connection to the vehicle and enabling Show Notifications. If you prefer, connecting your phone with a cable will allow Apple CarPlay or Android Auto to mirror your phone screen on the car's infotainment system. A long press of the voice command button on the steering wheel will then connect you to your phone's voice assistant. Going back to the home page, tapping on the Media tab will take us to DAB radio. Tapping Source will reveal the phone that you've just paired as a possible audio source. Radio stations can be easily selected from the menu, or you can simply use the voice commands from the steering wheel. Tune radio to BBC Radio 2. The third option from the home screen is the Navigation Pro system. To input a new destination, tap on the magnifying glass and then type any postcode, address or point of interest into the search box at the top of the screen. You can also search for businesses and transport links, hotels and restaurants. Wherever possible, the system will show TripAdvisor reviews. Destinations can be easily set by voice. Navigation: take me to 33 Baker Street, London. As well as appearing on the main 10-inch screen, navigation instructions will also be shown on the interactive driver display in front of the driver, along with the display of the charge remaining and estimated range on that level of charge. This screen can be reconfigured for a 1 or 2 dial display by pressing Menu and selecting Display Options. You can even bring the map across the whole screen, retaining a digital readout of your speed. All iPaces are supplied with a 4G data connection to allow over-the-air updates of the infotainment systems and maps, and provide live traffic, flight information and internet search. When the system has an update available, it will alert the driver on the main menu screen and ask for permission to update when you switch off the engine. Only agree at a convenient time, as the car must then remain switched off and locked for up to 30 minutes whilst the update is applied. Swiping to the left from the home screen reveals additional features such as 4x4 information and driving efficiency analysis, and options for smart settings. The car can be set to recognise different drivers, either by different smart keys or the signal from their mobile phone, so the system can develop separate profiles for each driver's preferences. If memory seats are fitted, this starts with automatically putting the seat in the correct position for each driver. It can also analyse behaviour to pre-select navigation routes based on your regular routine, store audio preferences, and also remember climate settings. So the car might automatically put the heated seats on when it's below 6 degrees outside. Remember that you listen to a particular radio station on the way to work, but listen to a podcast on the way home. Know that on Thursday you come home via the gym and set the navigation accordingly. It will also remember that you like a 1-dial display, but your partner prefers 2 dials with the map shown between them. Obviously, this involves storing a level of personal data, so when setting the system up, you can choose what data is stored on each profile. If you don't want it to store location data or information on your phone calling habits, just deselect these options. The lower touchscreen has controls for heated seat options, heated windscreen and ventilation. A quick swipe down will transfer phone and media controls to the lower screen for occasions where you're using the navigation map on the main screen. Heated and cooled seats can be controlled by the large rotary dials, also used for climate control, by simply pressing the dial in to change function. iPace only has 1 gear, so there isn't a gearbox as such. The buttons on the centre console allow you to simply select drive, neutral, reverse and park just by holding the brake and pressing the button. The response when you put your foot down in iPace is incredible. 700 Newton meters of torque propelling you forward, but when you take your foot off the accelerator, there's a braking effect from the regenerative braking system. This can be adjusted by swiping left from the home screen, selecting My EV and then EV Setup, and selecting high or low. High allows up to 0.2 G of braking from releasing the throttle, so in many situations it allows near one-pedal driving. Many factors will affect the range that iPace delivers. Air resistance increases exponentially with speed, so faster motorway speeds will reduce the range. Smooth driving with gentle braking will allow the iPace to conserve power and harvest the maximum kinetic energy when slowing down. The Eco Data feature shows an analysis of how driving style affects range and shows the power usage of different systems on the car. iPace has a range of driving modes, selectable with buttons on the centre console. Comfort is standard, and the buttons cycle through the Eco, Dynamic and Rain Ice Snow modes, displaying selection on the information panel. Further driving aids such as all-surface progress control and hill descent control give superb control on difficult surfaces. The iGuide app will give more detail on using these. Just below these buttons are the controls for air suspension, if this is fitted. As standard, iPace will automatically lower 40mm to allow easy access in and out of the vehicle. When needed, the controls raise the suspension 50mm above normal drive height to give a maximum wading depth of 550mm and ground clearance of 235mm. The electronic park brake will disengage automatically when you drive away and re-engage when you switch the engine off. A manual override control is located by the driver's knee. Automatic braking systems for city driving are standard and detect other traffic, pedestrians and cyclists, preventing collision or mitigating damage. Cars fitted with adaptive cruise control have a high-speed emergency braking system. The lane keep system will provide a torque steer back into the lane if the car thinks you're drifting beyond the lane markers, so it's important to indicate when changing lane. If blind spot assist is fitted, the door mirrors incorporate a blind spot warning system, lighting up when a vehicle is travelling alongside and flashing rapidly to warn if a car is closing to overtake. If you start to move into the path of an adjacent vehicle, the car will deliver a torque steer in an attempt to avoid a collision. These driver aids are designed to intervene when there is no input from the driver, which is surprisingly hard to simulate, so please don't try to test these systems. Any input from the driver will override them, and they do not reduce the driver's responsibility to drive safely and attentively. They can be deactivated, but as all of them have been shown to save lives both inside and outside the vehicle, they are switched on by default, and we recommend leaving them that way. For additional safety, in the event of an accident where the airbags are deployed or the battery system is isolated, the car will automatically contact emergency services, sending GPS location data. Emergency services can be contacted at any time by pressing the right-hand button above the rear-view mirror. The left-hand button summons breakdown assistance. Both these buttons have covers to avoid accidental operation. The charging port is on the passenger side. For AC charging, simply plug the Type 2 plug into the socket. If charging at home, plug the cable into the power and then plug into the car. The LED indicator next to the socket will start white to give some illumination while plugging in, and then start flashing as it makes the connection. When charging starts, the LED will flash green, changing to solid green when charging is complete. A red light indicates a problem charging. When you lock the car, the cable will lock in place and it's not possible to engage drive whilst the cable is connected. For fast DC charging, the rubber cover beneath the charge socket needs to be removed to reveal the two large diameter ports that can accept high voltage DC input. Public charging stations will have individual instructions for payment and use and always have the DC charging cable attached to them. The remote app provides monitoring of many systems. When you first run the app, there is a quick start guide to aid setup, and then it provides control over remote locking and unlocking of the car, gives live information on charging status and current range, reports the last parked location of the car so you can always find your way back to it. And it can export a full journey log in the form of an Excel spreadsheet. So if you're tracking mileage for business use, this is really easy to keep track of. The batteries and I-Pace work most efficiently at a temperature of 22 degrees. In the UK, it is unlikely they will be at this temperature most mornings. Preconditioning brings both the cabin and the battery to this temperature so that I-Pace can maximise available range. This can be programmed in advance. Swipe left from the home screen and select Vehicle Preconditioning, and you'll be able to set up either one-off or recurring departure times. And so long as the car is plugged into power, I-Pace will ensure both cabin and batteries are warmed to optimum temperature. The same screen will allow you to set preferred charging times to make use of any low-rate electricity tariffs. If your schedule doesn't allow for this level of planning, the remote app has a controlled trigger preconditioning. Just press the button on your phone 20 minutes before heading out, and so long as the I-Pace is plugged into power, it will de-ice itself and warm up to prepare for departure. This video has really only touched on the essentials. Please make use of the iGuide app or videos on our YouTube channel to find out more, or contact your retailer with any questions. Thank you for your time and enjoy your time with the Jaguar I-Pace.